and Selection Committee of the Busan International Film Festival, and Ms. Ionna Stais, Head of Festivals and Sales at Heritage Outreach. This press conference and interaction is in a way a continuation of the workshop they held yesterday on the subject of production and marketing of films for festivals. So without taking much more time, I'd request Ionna to speak a little bit in detail about her experiences in this very area which requires a lot of specialization.
So hello, thank you for having me here. So my experience has always had to do with very independent and small budget films. So the whole idea and theme of our panel discussion was on this how marketing a film and independent production in the festival circuit is important for success in the festival circuit and also for further sales. So I think the idea is that many productions are made every year, and it's difficult to see how these independent productions can find their place in a tough market and in a market where films get old very easily. So in, let's say, 6 months' time, your film can be considered to be old. So I think the idea for an independent film is to really think of a strategy in advance, even before the film is finished, to think of which, let's say, a category and big festival you will choose to launch your film and aim for your film to be the launching platform for this film. So if we talk about very big festivals, so Cannes, Berlin, Venice, Toronto, Locarno, Busan, for example, it's important to prepare your film to be ready in time for these festivals. I think another thing which is important is to network in advance, to create an expectation before before your film is finished. So network with film festivals in advance. Try to attach a sales agent to your film way in advance as well. So also talk to distributors in advance. Try to present your film in various works in progress in festivals, in international festivals and European festivals if you want to transcend borders, especially if we're talking about Indian films. So try to have your film get noticed in advance. And then if your film has the chance to be at a big festival, then afterwards I think it's important to build a strategy going from country and from region, and festivals follow. But it's important to have strategy. So yeah, these are a few words. The rest in the panel discussion.
Yes, Kim, if you
Yes, good to be here. And then my name is Young Kim. I'm working for Busan International Film Festival. I'm doing the programming, and then I'm making selections for Asian cinema. And since last 2 years, I've been making all the Indian selections for the festival as well. And actually, Busan Film Festival is pretty much focusing on an Asian cinema. So we have been showing many Indian films every year, and then usually we are showing 10 to 12 Indian films every year at the festival, and then especially this year we showed 16 Indian films, including documentaries and short films. Even the opening film this year was Indian. You might know that, Juban. And actually, compared to other big major film festivals, actually, the Busan shows the outstanding number of Indian cinema, because in Asia, actually, when it comes to the number of productions, I mean, actually, India is the largest in the production. And then, actually, such an good young talents people out there. Also, very interesting range of cinemas coming out of India. So from like the big production, like the typical Bollywood films, to very young, independent short films. Actually, we just want to show a wide range of Indian cinema at the festival. That's our own intention. So I open from my experience. I mean, actually, there in India. I mean, like more than 20 like official languages out there, and then each language community has their own market as well there. So I just want to I actually come to India often that find a new discovering a new talent and then new films out there. So that's all I'm doing now. So thank you. Start.
Questions? Yes, please take the mic.
Can you have you watched any films at IFFI, and what is your both your reactions to the selections at IFFI?
For EP, no, because actually the Busan is in October, so I just finished, and then actually most of the films I actually watched. I mean, this is a little bit early for me to watch new Indian films here, but actually one of the films showing in here, the Radio Petty, is from Tamil film, right? Actually, he's one of the winner in the Busan this year. He was invited in the New Current, and then he got the audience award or something. So I'm going to meet him very soon today. And then yeah, actually a couple of films are showing here and already shown in Busan. So that's pretty good to see them here. So.
Your any comments on the sort of type of films which are showcased here, Ionna?
I just arrived, so I haven't had the chance to watch any films at the festival for the 2015 edition. So.
Yes, please.
Hi, I have a question for Ionna. I wanted to ask you, do you think sort of like international co-productions are sort of the way forward for a lot of indie films? Because in the last 5-6 years, a bunch of indie films, like Court, for example, was sort of screened at the Venice Film Festival because the director sort of met the festival programmer in Goa actually 2 years ago and sort of helped build an anticipation for the film. And similarly, like a bunch of films like The Lunchbox and all that have been sort of been screened I mean, they have definitely been screened at the different international film festivals, but they were also made with sort of like the help of like different labs across the world. So I mean, both with respect to Indian cinema and just in respect to world cinema, how important sort of you think international collaboration is sort of going to be in the subsequent years?
Well, I think it's true that because in the last decade, let's see, we see that a lot of there's a big movement, let's say, of Indian independent productions, and we see that it's true that a lot of the very successful films abroad are very often a result of international co-productions. So I think it's important from the point of view that it might get a different attention. The film might get different attention. Very often it can be European co-productions or the US, for example, and I think that in terms of European co-productions, there's a lot of, let's say, co-productions, workshops, etc., that are already in place for developing a project. So I think it's important because it can get attention and because there's a tradition in co-productions in Europe, for example, it might find more easily its path to get an attention of a sales agent, for example, because there are a lot of, let's say, workshops done, co-productions afterwards with meetings, with sales agents, that sort of thing. So there are a lot, let's say, of already organized things abroad that co-productions can help with. But I think what's important to try and try to find out is for because Indian films, you have these very successful ones. Of course, it's important for the film to be good, but what's interesting to see is for films which are independent and maybe won't have an international co-production, how can they get noticed, and how Indian producers for themselves can start developing ways to adapt to the reality of the market, and how they can go towards, let's say, sales agents and film festivals for the launch of their film. So of course I think co-productions can be at the moment very important and should be developed more and more, and I think we will see this more and more because Indian cinema is getting all the more attention with how successful it has been in the last years, and how it's starting also to shift in the minds of the audience, which is also the key target at the end. It's the audience, how it's shifting from just being Indian equals Bollywood. So it's important, it's shifting, and European co-productions are important, but I think we also have to focus on strategy of small budget independent Indian films that may not have also co-productions abroad.
Yeah.
Mr. Ionna, I want to ask that in sequel to this, our answer to that question, that what is actually the thrust of this co-production? Actually, why it is needed for today? Because where the cinema is suffering from art flu, that sort of artistic movies we are not getting, of the aesthetic excellence and the thematic and technological excellence. But the movies are, say, going on, producing a lot of scale. So as a festival authority, what is actually your role playing? Because when you are, say, making any co-productions of the India, you know that this is a vast market in India. So you are searching your investment to have the profit over there. Okay? Now, when this movie is going to your place, say, in your state, it is not getting a market because that is a language problem, means dialogue language problem. Always the people are not interested to watch the movie subtitle wise. In this subtitle pruned movies are really suffering from some problems. Because today in the morning I had a talk with her. You see, I belong to Marathi. I don't know Bengali, but Bengali movies are very good. Then I told, when you are not watching the movie, how you can say that Bengali movies are very good? So she just laughed at me. Now question is that I really want to know what is the importance, only searching of the market. No, you are just developing the aesthetic beauty and the technological beauty as well as the thematic and structural beauty. You are actually impressing upon that or impositioning your position to that.
Wow. Okay. I think it's gonna take another day or something to answer the question. But actually, I think each film festival. I mean, actually, if it goes to the market things, I mean, I think it's gonna take forever or something. But when it comes to a festival screening or something, and then what I can say is, actually each film festival has its own role, I guess. But actually for Busan, I mean, actually because I'm working only for the Busan now, so I mean, for Busan Film Festival, actually we are setting ourselves in a position that are showing more like art house films or more independent films. Just give them young filmmakers, give them like opportunities or chance to be exposed or something. And then the market-wise, I mean, actually it depends on each country's situation there. I mean, as you say, the language barrier stuff, but actually a lot of Hollywood films, going across the borders, and then even though the subtitle stuff or something, so it's pretty popular out there. So I mean, the language barrier is not a. It could be one of the problems, but I mean, it's not that much in the crucial problems out there. As long as the films are good, as she mentioned that, I mean, as long as the films are good, no matter what is the co-production, whatever is big production or it's a small art house production, independent the production or something, as long as the films are good, I think they should get the chance to be exposed, at the festivals or something. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
You've seen, I mean, you do the selection for Asian films and you've seen the wide range of it. So, why do you feel, the world over it is, cinema is still sort of the popular viewing culture is more sort of Hollywood centric? And how do you think it can be shifted? And will we have ever, this same kind of star power of Asian stars, the world over? How do you think is it possible to do that?
Do you think it's possible? I don't think so. No, actually, no. I think it's impossible to because it's all like a matter of money or something. Actually, we cannot change the audience choice. That's all I can say. I mean, if the audience, if the people out there wants to watch, if they want to watch more blockbuster movies and Hollywood films or something, big production. Even in India, I mean, like a big one, like Bahubali and then Bajrangi Barangi. I mean, if we want to see those in the big production films, that's audience choice. I mean, actually we cannot tell them you should watch this one because this has more meaningful whatever. This is more whatever something any reason. I mean, actually we cannot teach we cannot tell the audience to watch some this kind of films or something. You shouldn't do that now. But at least we are, as a film festival people, I mean, at least we are trying to secure at least kind of in a place or at least one of the platform or something to showcase a different kind of films out there. That's, all we can do here.
And also just to add something to this, I think that regarding film festivals, it's also an importance they're getting more and more is that a film festival where it's happening, it's considered to be an event. So, for example, the audience finds it as an event in their town or in their country, or even they come from other countries for these festivals, and the audience, I think, is more open to discovering a new cinema. So I think the question is not to make people who love Hollywood films don't love them anymore. I mean, I don't think this is possible, but I think what is possible is to open visibility to some other more independent productions. And for example, I think that very often we see that in many countries the audience who goes and watches Hollywood films and many times don't even go to the cinema to watch the Hollywood films, they just download them. I think a film festival is a very good way to take and get the people to go in cinemas to see more independent productions because they're more open to it because it's an event. So they want to be part of this event happening there, so they'll be more open to discovering new films. So it's opening the minds to something new, not shifting to something else, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is to both the directors of film festivals. What is the criteria, if you have any, in selecting movies to your festivals? Do you have any specific segments like country focus that like we have in IFFI? And is there any focus or particular theme for your annual festival? How do you select movies?
So I'm not a film festival, I'm a sales agent, so I'll talk for this part. I think for a sales agent it's two different things. One important part is that they all look for a certain commercial potential of the film because the idea is also to be able to sell it for distribution. And if we're talking about film festival, then it's sort of also the potential, what we call a festival film, which I hate the term, but very often it's more art house films, etc. So it's more of the artistic impact. But I think the most important thing we look for is for first of all the film to be good. Second of all, the film to maybe tell local stories, but in a way that it transcends borders and can talk to people at an international level, because very often it could be a very local story which can have an appeal only for the local audience who knows the subject, so this is difficult to export, let's say. And then of course there are many festivals that have special focuses every year or have special sections, so it's good for a film depending on its theme, depending on its origin, depending on the issues it deals with, to always look for also the festivals which will be more adapted to the theme.
Do you have anything to say on this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really hard to tell. Actually, first of all, I'm taking films which I like it. I have to like it first, right? And then, but actually, since I'm in charge of Asian cinema, actually each Asian country has different situation, things going there. The industry situation are different, the market situation different, production situation different. But when it comes to India, the two things I have here though in my mind, I just want to show what has happened in Indian cinema on a specific year, that year. So from what kind of films are pretty much successful at the box office. And that's why we took that, we showed that Bahubali, the beginning, and then other big production there. And also, actually there are many new talents, and then new young filmmakers are coming out of India. So I just want to show, I just want to discover young talents out there. So that's why we are taking out around 10 to 12 films every year. So that couple of things are, that's all my criteria or something. But first of all, the film should be good, and then I have to like it. That's why.
So what is the general response of the audience to Indian films here?
In Korea?
In
Korea? Actually, a couple of Indian films are actually Korea has very limited slots for actually the Korean market, the film market is pretty much dominated by Hollywood films and Korean films actually, but limited slot for European films and then art house films or something. But as a couple of Indian films has been very successful in Korea as well, not just in Korea, in China, in Japan. The Three Idiots, and then
which films can we know?
The Three Idiots, and then My Name Is Khan was okay, and Black was okay, and a couple of them. It all happened in recent years though. So I think many the distributor international company in India, the big company in India, they are now pretty much interested in getting into Korean market and then Japan and China, of course, yes. But during actually for Busan audience, we have a kind of tradition there. We are showing Indian films every year, so they are pretty much expecting to watch some Indian films because nowhere else, watch Indian films there. So we have a decent number of big. Actually, I just met the Kabir Khan yesterday here, and then he came to Busan with it was open outdoor screening, 5,000 audience out there, and he was pretty much surprised, and then he was really happy, I guess. Yes.
Could I ask you a question? Do you think the Three Idiots touched a chord in Korea with South Korea? Because we hear that in your country also the education system is very competitive.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Three Idiots has a kind of some universal element there. Pretty much appealing not just Korean people. It was pretty much successful in Japan and China as well. Yeah, as you said, education problem, and then also like friendship, and then college kids, searching for their identity or whatever something, and then it has a pretty much universal elements there. So that's why it was pretty much successful, I guess.
So I think there are no more questions. Before I thank both Ionna and Kim, I'd like to announce that the next press conference is at 2:30. We have a series of directors from across Asia and Europe at that press conference. Thank you very much, Kim and Ionna, for being with us and giving me time for this press conference. Thank you.
Thanks.
for that. They put in India.